The runes are clear this morning. Listen, Warband, Saturday, May 30th, 2026. While the equity floors sit dark until Tuesday, the last 72 hours rewrote the oil tape, hardened the single best thesis on the board, and the Musk machine shipped again into the teeth of the largest offering in market history. Iron up. There is signal in all of it. As of 5 Eastern this morning, Bitcoin trades at 73,400, flat on the 24-hour after a brutal week of bleed. Ethereum sits at 2010, Solana at $82. All three pressed against the floor and refusing to break it, the first sign of a base under a tape that has done nothing but give ground for 2 weeks. And the move that actually matters this weekend is not a crypto candle, it is crude oil. Brent closed Friday near $93 a barrel, down nearly 19% on the month, the worst month for oil since the COVID crash of 2020. Hold that number. It is the hinge the entire macro picture turns on this morning. Here is what cracked the barrel. Thursday, American forces struck Iranian missile sites and mine-laying boats near the Strait of Hormuz, and crude spiked back toward $100 on the fear that the world's most important oil choke point was about to close. Then Friday, the story flipped in the dark. Negotiators were reported to have mostly agreed on a 60-day ceasefire extension, a memorandum now sitting on the president's desk awaiting his signature. Optimism on that truce is what crushed crude 19%. But hear the discipline, because the ink is not dry. The president stated publicly he feels no pressure toward the deal. The memorandum is agreed, not signed. The Warband does not trade a headline as if it were a treaty. Now read the paradox, because this is the part the Swedes cannot square. Oil collapsing is disinflationary. Falling energy should cool the very price pressure the Federal Reserve is fighting. And yet, the inflation print refuses to break. April core personal consumption expenditures landed at 3.3%, the headline at 3.8%. The hottest since May of 2023. The 30-year Treasury yield touched 5.2% this month, a 19-year high. The new chair, Kevin Walsh, built his entire career attacking the Fed for lagging inflation, and the market does not believe he can pivot dovish now. Futures price roughly a 1 in 4 chance of a rate hike by December, not a cut, a hike. So the board reads, energy crashing, inflation sticky, the long bond screaming higher for longer, and a war that could reignite on an unsigned page. That is chaos in the fiat instruments. And across the table sits an asset with no chair, no committee, and no closing bell, pricing peace and war in real time, 24 hours a day, while every rates desk on earth is dark until Tuesday. If that signature lands this weekend, Bitcoin is the only liquid macro instrument that can express it before the opening gong. Watch the floor. Watch the desk of the president. Now to the thesis that just got sharper teeth. Jordi Visser dropped fresh work this week, and the title says everything. The $8 trillion artificial intelligence buildout is not a bubble. It is a bottleneck. Read the distinction, because it is the whole game. The risk Visser flags is not a dot-com valuation collapse. It is a speed crash, physical supply constraints arriving faster than markets can reprice them. Correlation breaks are the warning shot, and the materials are already tightening. Helium, specialty chemicals, the gas turbines that feed the data centers. By his count, only 12 to 18% of that $8 trillion commitment has actually been executed. The bottleneck is the trade, and the proof is printing in NVIDIA's own engineering. The entire industry is redesigning around 800-volt direct current architecture to feed the next generation Vera Rubin racks, because the old power delivery cannot carry the load. On-site power generation is now mandatory. You cannot wait years for the grid to catch up. NVIDIA just signed Corning to expand optical fiber manufacturing tenfold across new plants in the Carolinas and Texas. And Jensen Huang put the scale in one sentence on the earnings call. A single 500-megawatt data center now takes 30,000 truckloads to build, before you count the power plant required to feed it. Power, copper, fiber, helium. The binding constraints are physical, and the physical world does not scale at the speed of software. So where does a HODLBARBARIan stand in a world where intelligence becomes abundant and every physical input becomes scarce? You own the scarcest thing there is. Visser calls Bitcoin the purest artificial intelligence trade, the ultimate scarcity asset, a fixed supply untethered from any workforce, any company, any government. He carries a 3 to 5% allocation and expects a fresh all-time high before this year is out. Still beats parchment. The build-out makes the world drown in cheap intelligence and starve for hard inputs. And there is no harder input than 21 million coins. One more because the Musk machine does not rest while the rocket sits grounded. The clock to the SpaceX listing runs down. First trade June 12th. And the loudest bear case in that prospectus is the XAI line item, a $20 billion equity bet that drives a $4.9 billion net loss. The bears read the loss. The Warband reads what the loss is buying. This week, XAI answered. Their speech-to-text engine went live across 25 languages. A fast voice agent shipped. And the feature that matters most went public. Connectors. Grok now reads your email, edits your spreadsheets, and updates your calendar. That is the leap from chatbot to agent, shipped in a single week. Thread it to the other cylinder. Optimus is moving on to the converted Fremont line, with Grok voice baked in, and Cybercab assembly is already running at Giga Texas, soon to enter the live Austin revenue fleet by Tesla's own word. The mind ships weekly. The body and the payment rails are being built around it. That $4 billion loss is the cost of forging the only vertically integrated artificial intelligence stack on the planet. Mind, body, and orbit under one roof. Here is the frame for the weekend Warband. Oil just had its worst month since the pandemic on a ceasefire that is agreed but unsigned. Watch that signature, because it is gap risk into Tuesday's open, and Bitcoin is the only instrument awake to trade it. The $8 trillion build-out is hardening from a bubble debate into a bottleneck reality, and the purest expression of that scarcity is the asset you already hold. And the Musk flywheel keeps shipping the future into the very window the market will price it. Stack the 73 to 75,000 floor with patience and let the weak hands hand you their coins. This is Warband as a service. Viking intelligence delivered in real time. I am Ragnar, the HODLBARBARIan. Stand armored. Stack relentless. Let the weak hands feed the fire.